Good morning, everyone. I sure do miss all your smiling faces, and I hope everybody's doing well. Today, we're going to pretend like we're back in our classroom, ready to have reading group. I have our story pulled up just like we would if we were using the smartboard. And if you haven't listened to the video about our vocabulary words, pause right now and go and do that so that you're ready to dive into this text. Today, we're going to be reading an informational text about butterflies and moths. Now, by looking at them, sometimes it's hard to spot the difference between a butterfly and a moth. After reading this book, I hope that you can easily spot some of these characteristics that make them unique. Now, our story today is an informational text, like I said. That means we're going to learn facts today about butterflies and moths. And in this first section, we're just going to focus on some of the things about butterflies and some of the characteristics about moths. Now, our author is Nick Bishop, but what's unique about this story is he also took all the pictures that you're going to see, which is a clue that we're going to be learning facts today because all the pictures that you're going to see in this book are real snapshots that he has taken for his story. Now, again, you're going to be seeing some different pictures. I wonder which one this is. Is this a butterfly or is it a moth? Hopefully by the end of the week, you'll be able to spot the difference. Here's a couple more pictures. There is no mistaking a butterfly. Its colorful wings skip in the air like petals blown in the wind. Blues, reds, and yellows dance in the sunlight. Some shimmer like tinsel. A creature so beautiful should belong in a fairy tale. But butterflies are real. They dance through the woods and glide over fields. You can see them in parks and backyards. And they always catch your attention. So what's so special about butterflies? You can tell the difference because they are so colorful. Now, I heard one of our vocabulary words, creature. What is a creature? If you said animal, you are absolutely right. Creatures are any animal that we spot in our world. Now, in informational text, there are captions. Captions describe our picture. So let's look down at the bottom. It says, this tiger's swallowtail is one of the most beautiful butterflies seen flying in gardens, forests, and meadows. And again, we can tell this is a butterfly because of all of its brilliant colors. Moths are more secretive. Most fly at night while you are in bed. If you are lucky, you might find one in the morning sleeping by a porch light that has been left on. And if you take a look, you will see how moths differ from butterflies. Moths are less colorful than butterflies, and many rest with their wings open, not closed. Moths also often have fatter bodies covered with furry hairs. But it's not always easy to tell the two apart. A few moths are as brightly hued as butterflies and fly in the daytime, while some butterflies are as dull as moths. Yet both lead similar lives, changing from eggs to caterpillars to adults. Now, if you noticed when I was reading, there was a sentence that was bigger and bolder. That is because it's a key detail that stands out. So not only are butterflies more colorful, but we find out that a moth's body is fatter and it's covered with fur. So if you look at the picture, you can see how different that moth looks from the butterfly in the previous picture. Now let's look at the caption because it also gives us another clue that you might have already noticed in this picture. You can tell a moth from a butterfly by the antenna on its head. A male moth like this Luna moth often has feathery antennae, while a female moth has thinner antennae with pointed tips. Butterflies' antennae look different because they are thin with distinct knobs at the tips. So as you can see, the antennae, those are the things coming out of its head, are quite different from the picture before. If we look back at the picture, you can see the little knobs on the ends of these antennae, and they're very thin, whereas these are more feathery. Scientists have discovered more than 170,000 different types of butterflies and moths. They live everywhere there are plants for caterpillars to eat, from high mountains to dry deserts. Most live in the rainforest where there are thousands of different food plants. That is where you find the world's largest butterfly, the Queen Alexandra's birdwing of New Guinea. It is also where the biggest moth lives, the Atlas moth of Southeast Asia. Both have wingspans of almost a foot. That's the size of a ruler. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a butterfly or a moth quite that large. Other moths are so tiny that you need a hand lens to see them. That's like a microscope. And there are weird moths too. One feeds on the tears of sleeping animals, and another drinks blood. But perhaps the most amazing thing about butterflies and moths is the way they grow up. In our next section, we're going to talk about the life cycle of a butterfly and a moth. It's one way that they are similar. They both start as an egg, hatching to a caterpillar, turning into a cocoon or a pupa, and then coming out as a beautiful new creature, a butterfly or a moth. So tune in next time. We got one more caption to read down here at the bottom, but I wanted to point out, again, another bolded sentence in this text. It talked about where they're mostly found. Where are butterflies and moths mostly found? Well, if you look at the sentence, it says most of them live in the rainforest because there are lots of plants for these caterpillars to eat once they hatch. And if you haven't read The Very Hungry Caterpillar, it's a great story that shows truly how hungry they come hatched out of that egg. Look at the bottom. There are 10 times as many types of moths as butterflies, and their caterpillars are often beautiful. But you better not touch the silkworm moth caterpillar from Costa Rica. Those spines will sting. Ouch! So be careful not to just go pick up any caterpillars that you see rolling around, because if they look like this, they might sting. And which one has more, a caterpillar or a butterfly or a moth? Well, in that caption, it told us that there are 10 times as many moths. So we're more likely to see moths than we would to see butterflies. But the only reason why we probably see more butterflies is because moths live at night, where butterflies are out during the day when we are out strolling in the park or riding our bikes around our neighborhood. So anyways, tune in tomorrow and listen to the next section of the story as we talk about the life cycle, and we'll do a fun activity that goes along with it also. Have a great day, everybody.